Good morning. Oh, it's so good to see everybody today. This year is the year of core values. We found so many more that we haven't worked on yet. So this month, we've got them, they're the F words. So we have fluidity, flexibility, and focus. So as we go into our meditation, let's think about those things. So we're going to start off with John giving us some music, and then we'll go into the quiet.
Good morning. Good morning, John.
Very gently allow yourself to come back into the room, down into your body. Just feeling it, bringing all the feelings that you have, all the scenes that played in your mind, and as part of who you are. And know that God is, we are, and all is well. I went somewhere. Is that better? Oh, okay, I'm just gonna go that way. Thank you.
You're welcome.
But I remember scenes from movies where it's panning the wilderness and there's mountains and maybe snow is softly falling and it's a stream and then the animals come in. And it's this beautiful silence and the beauty of nature. And that's where I was flowing. And I think we get the nature image a lot up here. And it is so beautiful in the mountains. I can't imagine living anywhere else. So now, Jackie Stringer, our newest practitioner intern, is going to come up and give us a spiritual thought.
Thank you. It's so nice to have a community to come to share your heart with. And it's funny that you brought up nature, because this morning I wasn't sure exactly what I was going to say. So I went out and I sat on my swing, and we have these three, I call them sister cedars, and they're beautiful. And I've always looked to them. They always paint the sky. It's just, they're always there, and they're always strong. They're always, it's like, wow. And their leaves are turning. Obviously it's fall, but in my heart at first I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, your leaves are turning color. And then I'm like, wait, that's an opportunity for growth, for new growth coming in. As something dies, something comes in new. And so I realized I had three things that were like inside of me. And I was like, wow, thank you, sisters. Like, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing your knowledge with me through the beauty of just who you are. And when we look outward, it gives us a chance to look inward. And when we speak a truth, the universe, which is you, inverse, gives you the opportunity to learn that lesson more fully. You think you know it. You may have read it, you may have understood it, but you know it when you feel it. And I've been sitting with some uncomfortable feelings for the last couple of weeks. I'm like, why am I feeling this? And it's a chance for me to learn, not to react, not even to respond, just like to kind of sit back and feel like, wow, what am I learning? And as I sit with it, I get these ahas like, oh, that's this, that's that. And it's just for me to know. But I love it when people are vulnerable and they're able to share something, because it gives you a chance to go inward and say, oh, I really resonate with that. And my husband shared a Facebook post with me about somebody he had went to high school with, and he had put out a request for prayer. And he didn't want any responses. He made it clear, please no responses, just want prayer. My lovely daughter is growing up and she's 18 and she wants to spread her wings and meet her biological family. And you could just feel the pain in it. And I was just like, wow, that's got to be hard to feel like you're losing something that you nurtured for so long. And I wasn't sure how to think about that. And I was like, wow. So I went into meditation, which is prayer. And I sat with that. And as I was quiet, I got the message, love multiplies. And as I came out of it, I was like, wow, what a beautiful focus to have. I've been looking at focus. I was focusing on different things, not the wrong things, just different things. I was focusing on the leaves of the tree turning. And then I getting sad, and I'm like, oh, that's an opportunity for growth. I was focused on me being in such like a down part, but I refocused my lens. It's kind of like going to the eye doctor and it's like camera 1, camera 2, which is better? Camera 1, camera 2. I'm like, camera 2 is definitely better. And you get to focus your vision on what's true to you. And I came out thinking, what a beautiful family that child must have had, to feel the ability to leave her only place, her nest, and look for more. She's just looking for more love. And she's going to bring that, she's going to multiply that love through every relationship she has. And that was my prayer for their family, for her, to not focus on the pain, to focus on the love. Because when we're vulnerable, it allows other people to see that it's okay. We're all going through this human experience together as spirits. So thank you. Namaste.
Thank you. Now, John, we've got some more music.
I'm going to play one of my favorite native flute songs. It's by Mary Youngblood. If you don't know Mary Youngblood, she's kind of the native flute diva. She is native. She is a classically trained silver flautist, and this is her Grammy-winning song "Beneath the Raven Moon" from her album of the same.
Thank you, John. Your flute just gets better and better and better. My heart loves it. Now it's my great joy to introduce the Reverend Bob Hand, who's going to talk to us this morning.
Hi, it's always good to be here and speak with you. And I'm glad that Jackie, you brought up this idea of looking through a lens to improve our vision. I mean, when I think of focus, which is the theme I'm going to talk about, I think of a lens focusing the light. You know, you might use a microscope. It focuses the light so you can see something too small you couldn't see before, a telescope so you could see things far away. And of course, I use these glasses as my lens. Without them, you all would be kind of a modern painting with maybe a face popping out every once in a while. Heck, I might just take them off and entertain myself through the talk. But I need to stay focused. So that's what I'm going to do. And, you know, I think our spiritual vision is like that. And it's our belief system, perhaps, that's the lens for our spiritual vision. And many of us choose a belief system. We choose a religion, maybe because our families were in it, our friends were in it. It just appealed to us at the time. But you know, over time, we mature, maybe some things happen to us that are problematic, and that belief system isn't allowing us to focus our spiritual vision. So we need to look for another one. And obviously that's what brings a lot of us to the PLC, looking for another lens to focus our spiritual vision. And I hope that you're getting that here, that things you get help you. And, you know, maybe you have some kind of problem that requires you to focus on some kind of spiritual detail, and you need that type of special lens, or maybe you feel kind of lost and you need to see your way in the bigger picture, and you need like a telescope spiritual lens. And if you're not getting that here, you know, you should talk to ministers or practitioners who might be able to help you with that focus. Because what we focus on is what tends to take precedence in our lives. And that always makes me think of a story. I know some of you have heard this before. It's about 20 years ago. Our son Benjamin was in a Little League practice, and I was there watching the practice. And somebody hit a foul ball. It went over the backstop. And the field was on this raised area. So the ball went down this little hill. And I thought, hey, I'm just here watching. I'll be a good guy. I'll go get that ball for him. So I started down the hill, but I didn't realize it was all loose dirt and loose gravel. So I'm starting down this hill, and all of a sudden I'm going faster and faster. I can't get my grip, and I go, I'm going to fall down, obviously. So I look down at the bottom, and a lot of it's grassy and dirt, and there's one rock. As long as I don't hit that rock, I'm fine. I'll fall down, I'll get dirty. So what do? I look right at that rock constantly. Just don't hit the rock. Anything. Don't hit that rock. Don't hit that rock. Well, of course, head first into the rock. I did bleed some. Jean came and rescued me. Fortunately, I'm extremely hard-headed. I think I came out of it better than the rock did. I feel kind of sorry for the rock. But what we focus on is important. So how do we focus spiritually? There are a lot of different techniques, but one of the most common is, again, what Jackie brought up. She's trying to steal my talk. It's all right. Is meditation. We use meditation to focus ourselves spiritually. And there's a lot of different ways. We repeat mantras over and over. We might stare at something that we're focusing on. But of course, the most common way is our breathing. How do we breathe? And we focus on our breathing. You're there meditating what's going to happen. You're focused. Oh my gosh, I forgot to pay the electric bill. Wow, I don't want them to turn off the electricity. It's going to get really hot. We won't have any air conditioning. And you have to come back and focus, right? You have to re-look at that breath. And that's so important. There are, I don't know, a dozen or more types of breathing in meditation. There's the 4 square breath, the 4-7-8 breath, the victorious breath, the yogic breath, the fire breath. If fire breath's too much, there's the cooling breath. All of those and many more, the buzzing bee breath is one I like, are breathing techniques used in meditation to focus our minds. And when I think of that, I think of the spiritual thought that Patty Hummel wrote into our flyer that goes out, that LJ sends out to us every month. Not this week, last week. What she wrote in there is that we live in a universe that's contradictory and fluid. Contradiction and fluidity are what our universe is about. And that reminds me of a book. I love the book, but I love the title the most, by Alan Watts. And again, I'm sure many of you have read The Wisdom of Insecurity. And what the book is about is this foolish idea that there are things in our life that are permanent, that are always going to be there. And we try to think, this house, we're always going to have this house. But nothing in life is permanent. Life is about change. And the wisdom is in recognizing that and accepting that. And so if we have a fluid, contradictory kind of universe, what does that have to do with focus? Here's the idea. You want to raise yourself up spiritually, right? So what do? You focus. Focus. We focus on classes, right? We focus on learning spiritual ideas. I know LJ, again, teaches a lot of classes. There's many classes you can take that you have to focus on those spiritual concepts. And of course, again, through meditation or other techniques, we focus our minds. We use our will to focus our minds to raise ourselves up into a spiritual level. But where are we going with that? Do we say you're spiritual if you can say this mantra over and over and over again? Do we say, well, I'm spiritual because I can think of my breath for a long period of time? No. You know what spiritual is? You know what the highest level of spirituality is? It's the unfocused mind, right? Because it's the unfocused mind that's, as we say, open at the top. It's the unfocused mind that's open to all of the possibilities of the universe. And so we have to focus to unfocus. And it reminds me, one of my favorite wisdom stories, again, I suspect many of you have heard it before, but for this kind of idea, I think it's really good. It's an old Chinese story about 2 monks walking along, and they come to a creek, and it's a shallow creek, knee-high water, and they can walk across it, but there's a woman there, and she has on this beautiful long dress. And she says, oh, please help me. I know I can wade across here, but if even the hem of my dress gets wet, it's going to soak the water and this whole expensive dress will be ruined. Would you please help me across the creek? So the older monk picks her up, carries her across the creek and sets her down. The 2 monks go on their way. I mean, they've walked 4 or 5 miles now. The younger monk says, I can't deal with this. You know that in our order, we're not supposed to touch women, and yet you picked that woman up and carried her across the creek. And the older monk says, well, yes, you're right, I did, but I set her down. You've been carrying her for the last 5 miles. You see, it's not just what we do, what we think of, what we focus on. It's, can we let go of it? Can we put it down? So we have a discussion group typically on the first Tuesday of each month. And well, of course, mostly what we do is gossip about all of you who aren't there. But then we get around to discussing spiritual things. And our own master musician, John Lalonde, brought up a very good point. He says in this music, was that beautiful music that he played, by the way? That was absolutely beautiful. He says, I have to concentrate. I have to focus on the notes, on the rhythm of that. I have to focus on my fingers, on those flutes. It takes a great deal of concentration. But the fact is, if that's where he goes, and he got up here and played, focused on each note, focused on his fingers, it might be technically correct, but it wouldn't be beautiful music. He talked about, to make it really good music, you have to let go of all of that. It becomes really good music when you can let go and let the inspiration carry you on and play that music. And that's true in all of our lives. And so let's go back to that universe of contradiction. If we want to raise ourselves up spiritually, maybe some of us can just do it. Most of us, we have to focus. We have to work on it. We have to learn things. Then we have to do this meditation where we focus and get our mind up there. But then we have to let go. We've got to let go, because that highest level is the unfocused mind. When you're unfocused, you're unified with all things. You're undivided. And in the undivided person, the divine light flows in. And when the divine light flows into us, it's going to burn out all of that residual focus. It's going to brighten our lives, lead us to divine bliss, divine harmony, and we can all join in to the inspired music of the universe. Thank you.
Well done, Bob. Thank you. Now it's time for the offertory. Could I have 2 people, please, to come up and help with that? If you would just wait a minute. Smile. Divine love flowing through me, blessings and increases all that I give and all that I receive. And for those who are in Zoom, Missy has probably put the information up there for you about how to tithe. And I know she's doing that because I saw a lot of the money's coming in, and I thank you. Now, Jackie, who is just sitting down, is our prayer partner for this week. And she'll be back in the back waiting afterwards at service if anybody wants any prayers. Next week's speaker is LJ Bull. Oh, it's been such a great day. It just feels so wonderful and so loving here in this family. It makes all the difference in the world coming on Sundays and being a part of this. especially in all the chaos, confusion that's going on out there. No matter where I am in my mind, if I'm off track, I come here and I'm back on track immediately. And I can't thank everyone enough for supporting our family here and being here with us and helping each of us to be able to do what we came to this world to do, to be able to open our hearts and to let that love outpour and to allow us to make a difference in this world. I can't thank you enough. And now, if you'll do the prayer of protection with me, please. The light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me. The presence of God watches over me. The energy of God is me. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. So I'm going to do the closing prayer, and then John Lalonde's going to music us out. Yes. Oh, would you please?
First of all, I have.
Do you want to come up here and do it on the mic so they can hear you on Zoom?
There's two announcements, actually. The first announcement. The first announcement is that I have CDs for people that got CDs from when Dave Avani was here. And the books I have to go pick up in North Fork or Cascadel. I still have to go get those. So I have those. And second announcement is Wendy Denton. I wanted to let Wendy come up and give a little bit of information about her work that's on the walls right now, because I didn't do that last Sunday and I should have. So Wendy, if you'd come up and do a little explanation or whatever you would like about your artwork. Thank you.
First of all, I want to thank Kim. She was so wonderful in encouraging me to put this up and actually helping me hang the whole thing. So she was wonderful. Can you all hear me okay? Okay, good. Pardon? Put it up higher. Now can you hear me?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. I was fascinated when I learned about Hildegard of Bingen. This is a woman who lived like 1,000 years ago at a time that was in some ways very different. Women didn't have power, wouldn't, all that kind of stuff. And she was tied to the church when she was 10 years old because she was her parents' 10th child. And that was the system back then. So she grew up in an abbey on the Rhine River, sort of. I'm not even sure if it was Germany yet, but on that part of the geography. And by the time she was 35, she was voted in to be the abbess of that particular abbey. And she was an amazing writer, painter. She wrote music. She was amazing. And I started looking at specifically some of her paintings to say, wow, these really are themes that go over 1,000 years. And that's what you see here. We have her talking about the patriarchy. We have her talking about the sacred earth. We have her talking about via positiva. We have her talking about via negativa, which is looking in the eye of the thing we're afraid of. What she talks about in many ways is meaningful for us today. And it's like, wow, 1,000 years ago, and she's talking about the sacred earth. She's talking about humans as an invasive species. I mean, a lot of these things are absolutely the same today. So I wanted to share this with you, and I'm still just amazed by her that many years ago, and she's right on for today. So thank you.
Thank you. And John, you want to come rock us out, please?
Actually, I want to request something.
Okay.
Through the years, gosh, the last 30 years, so many people have passed through the doors of the PLC. And a person I'd like us all to perhaps just focus a little bit on, send her some good energy, is Tracy Wyatt. Tracy is in her second bout with her relationship with cancer, and she's done a wonderful job of dealing with it. And so just please, if you might think of her, those who remember her, maybe there are a couple people here who do. Tracy Wyatt, she's in Texas. And then just a funny thing, Hildegard, that's wonderful. And John today just reminded me, I feel like I'm in this updraft of being pulled into this vortex for my environmental work, and it's going great. And the company that just came into my being is a company called Raven. So the fact that you played under the Raven Moon is pretty funny. As I'm just scaling, going to the heights, all of a sudden I felt like Icarus yesterday, because my little wax wings and my wand, my magic wand, is my cell phone. That's what I use for everything. And it's got all my information, and I'm subject to the great God of Apple, because I haven't been able to back up my phone and my pictures and everything. So yesterday, to let the air out of my little deflated ego, my tire got caught a nail, and so I went to go put air in the tire, and I was using my cell phone to light my way, and then I put my cell phone on my hood, and then I drove off from the gas station to get to go see the Mutant Ninja Turtles across the street. And then I realized I don't have it, and all of a sudden I drive back, follow every way, and I realize it has to be here, strewn on the road somewhere, but it's not. So it must have been picked up by someone. So probably an unhoused person, not to blame. So I put up signs, and then I started looking around and talking to some of those folks. I've always carry food with me and give it to them whenever I can. And so then some person knew a person who found a phone that had a leather case like mine. So it's still floating around the community, and I didn't get stressed. It was like weird, because it's just, I know it's coming back. But if you guys all want to put a little message into the universe, hopefully I get my phone back today, and maybe you can help that by putting a little positive thought into that. I just think it's funny, Bob, you talked about contradictions. Man, I sure do feel it today. Anyways, thank you.
Anyone else? Okay.
I don't know if any of you have been to the farmer's market at Ace on Thursdays, but my husband usually attends, and every last Thursday of the month, he actually brings out his printer. He's a photographer. His name is Don Stringer. So if you're ever out that way, go say hi, say you know his wife, because she's so great. But just go give him some love.
Anyone else? No, John, run, quick.
Oh, I'd love to run.
Not this week, but maybe next week.
Maybe.
It's coming.
Well, I like to think of the final song as something to sort of put a bounce in the step, and this one really does that. I'm using a backing track from that Clint Goss put together, and it is, the title of the song is Walking on E Street. So I am gonna focus at the beginning here, trying to come in at the right time, but then I hope to lose focus and just let it rip, and we'll see.
Have a great week, everybody. Grab a hug, look at the artwork, and just really enjoy your Sunday. Thank you.